episode 576, Overcoming Your Fears and Helping Kids Do It Too.
The 10-Minute Teacher Podcast with Vicki Davis. Every weekday, you'll learn powerful, practical ways to be a more remarkable teacher today.
So today we're talking with Tara Martin. She has a new children's book, Cannonball In. And Tara, tell us a little bit about what is the topic of this book? Because I think this is an important topic for all of us educators.
So Cannonball In is based off of a story of my dad and me, the dad who raised me. And I love that part too, just because he and I look nothing alike. His grandmother was Cherokee. I am of no blood kin to him. So I just love the fact that the illustrations portray that as well, that true fact for us. The book is all about this little girl who is very comfortable swimming in the shallow end, but she longs to join the jumpers. She really loves just sitting on the side or really just leaning up against the side of the shallow end of the pool and watching the jumpers. But her favorite of all time are the cannonballers. And her dad is the best cannonballer ever. But she's so afraid that she can't touch the bottom over there. And she wants to try it, but she's just so afraid that she won't be able to swim in the deep end and she won't be able to do this thing. She won't be able to cannonball it.
So it's all part of fear, right?
It is. It's great. And adults too, so later she does get up the nerve. Her dad convinces her, he shows her how to do it. He goes with her. And she faces the dabblers. I call them the dabblers. They're the beautiful girls sitting on the sidelines with their makeup perfect, their hair's perfect, they're not wet. They're just sitting there dangling their feet in the water and judging everyone that jumps. I don't know about you, Vicki, but maybe you guys don't have these kinds of people in the South.
I think they're everywhere.
But we definitely have them in Kansas.
Yeah, and I think that the old amazing quote about the man in the arena, where you have this person in the arena who's, they've got blood and dust all over them. And you've got all these, observers who are just critics, and that it's not the critic who counts, but it's the one who has spent their life in an important pursuit that lies in the arena exhausted. But, they don't know what it's like to have never attempted anything. And exactly. I think, that's part of life is saying, you know what, I got to get past this self-consciousness and just live it.
Do that thing. Exactly. I love it in the book too. It's much the same as the quote you just quoted.
Theodore Roosevelt. Was it Theodore Roosevelt?
Yeah, yes, it was. But her dad tells her, like when she heads to the shallow end, because she's so embarrassed and the dabblers have made her feel low, and she's not feeling confident any longer. Her dad says, why are you listening to the dabblers? Like, they're not even jumping. Like, if you want to know how to cannonball in, go talk to the cannonballers.
Yeah.
They're the ones that's going to give you the advice that you need. And it's really nice because at the very end of the book, it comes full circle. So yeah, she made a tiny little splash and maybe her splash wasn't great enough. And the dabblers made sure that she knew all those things. But the truth is her splash had an impact because some little kids in the shallow end saw it and they thought it was the best cannonball ever. And so they were asking her, like, how did you get the courage to do this thing? And she ends up taking their hands in the end. They end up heading over to the diving board to try to help them conquer their fears. And I think that's really what it's all about. Like, sometimes we get criticism that helps us, even from the haters. Sometimes their criticism does help us, but sometimes we do need to push that aside and know that our impact, our splash makes an impact. It may not be the biggest splash ever, but it doesn't really matter because every splash makes an impact. When we're doing stuff and we're trying new things, no matter if it's in the school system or if it's in the work system, or in your home life or your passion, people are watching and you're making an impact. It may not be world changing, but it's changing something for others.
Yeah, the splash is awesome, but sometimes it's encouraging others to take the jump. And, for example, in technology, I don't think teachers learn quite as much from me, somebody who's been, feels pretty comfortable in technology, as they learn from one of my colleagues who's trying something new for the first time. They're seeing a person go from the shallow to the diving board and jump in and come out successful. And that gets them to try it because everybody has somebody who looks up to them.
It's true. And I think everyone learns the process too. So So maybe there were times when I jumped and I belly busted, right? And it didn't turn out the way I planned, because Cannonball is not where I stopped. Like I wanted to do flips, later I wanted to do lots of things. And we learned through the process, but other people also enjoy watching you or can empathize with you when you're learning through the process and it's messy as well, because I think it just encourages them to maybe try it, because, hey, it's a little messy for them, but they're still going. So maybe I should try it.
We've got so many applications for life. I once read something about the regrets of the dying, and this person had interviewed people in the last stages of life. And so many of them said, I regret that I spent so much time pleasing other people and not doing what I really felt I needed to do for my life. And what holds us back is fear. We just have to take those leaps, even though sometimes it's hard and it's scary. I mean, I changed schools a year and a half ago. This is my second year at my new school, and it's awesome, but it was not easy, even if I knew it was the right thing to do.
It's true. And I think any type of leap where you're just jumping into the unknown. I mean, in the book, it's so fun. It's just 32 pages, smacked full of awesomeness and very few words, maybe 500 words. It's amazing. But I love this project because even in the depths of the deep end, when she's still wondering, oh my gosh, am I going to make it to the top of the water? Pushing through the doubt, pushing through the fear. And I think sometimes when we take that jump, we know it's scary, but then you're down there by yourself. You're fighting these inner struggles, your pulse, and you can feel it in your temples, and you just have to keep swimming. You know how to swim. You know how to teach. You know how to do that thing that is the foundation of whatever you jumped out in, right? She knew how to swim, and she still knew how to swim, even without touching the bottom. She just had to have faith in herself and just keep pushing toward the sunlight and get up to the top where she could take that breath. And I think it's like that with new jobs, with new roles, new anything that we're trying, kids trying some new concept for the first time. We just have to do it. We know we're going to learn through the process. We just have to trust the process.
Yeah. And I think the point is that she already knew how to swim, and it's not somebody saying, hey, I'm going to go jump off a roof, or I'm going to do, there's not foolishness in your fear. It's
right.
An educated thing that you can do. You're prepared, you're ready, but you have to jump sometimes. You just have to, and it's challenging, but you have to. So Tara, thank you for helping us with this great metaphor for how to conquer fear. The book is Cannonball In. Is that right?
That's it. If you want to check it out, you can go to my website, tarammartin.com. And if you go to books, you can scroll down to Cannonball In, and right there at the top, it's Cannonball In book. You can actually check it out, read, look at it on the Kindle, and find out if it's something you would love to read.
I think at the end of our life, the less we could meet the sisters of regret, the happier we'll be. Those triplets, shoulda, coulda, and woulda. And how many times have we said those things because of fear? Fear of what people would think, fear of failure, fear of looking dumb, or all different kinds of fears. As for me, there's only one kind of fear I really care about. That's fear of the Lord, just because I personally think he's the only one that I should be fearing. But think about fear and think about what it keeps you from doing. Discuss it with someone in your life to try to help you overcome those fears. I know I was so afraid to start this show, to start the 10-Minute Teacher. I had a successful podcast already, and could I keep up with 5 days a week? Would anybody want to be on the show, and would anybody listen? Well, here it is almost 2 years later. People are listening. It ended up being a great venture, a life-changing venture, and it's been a lot of fun too, and I hope it's helpful. If I had let fear hold me back, the show wouldn't even exist. Think about the fears and try not to meet those sisters. Think about, if you knew you could succeed, what would you definitely do? And then ask yourself, why am I not doing that thing?